Angelina Jolie is many things, and Tuesday, the actress added proactive survivor to the list. In an op-ed piece for the New York Times, the actress talked about her decision to undergo a preventative double mastectomy after testing positive for BRCA1, a gene that increases a woman's risk of certain cancers. Jolie writes, quote, "My doctors estimated that I had an 87% risk of breast cancer and a 50% risk of ovarian cancer."
You guys look awesome tonight, man.
The Oscar winner began her preventative process in February at the Pink Lotus Breast Center in Beverly Hills, where singer Sheryl Crow was treated for her breast cancer in 2006. Now, 9 weeks later, she says the final surgery has been completed and her breasts have been reconstructed with implants. Cancer is something Jolie knows only too well. Her mother, Marceline Bertrand, died 6 years ago after a decade-long battle with ovarian cancer. She was 56. Jolie talked about Bertrand in a 2011 60 Minutes interview.
She didn't have much of her own career, her own life, her own experiences, her own, everything was for her children. I will never be as good a mother as she was. I will try my best.
At 37, Jolie doesn't want the same legacy for her 6 children, writing, quote, "I can tell my children that they don't need to fear they will lose me to breast cancer." Jolie says she wrote the New York Times op-ed to tell other women that the decision to have a mastectomy was not easy, but it is one I am very happy that I made, adding she chose not to keep her story private to let other women know they have options if they too are high risk. It's a bold and public step from a woman who is well known for her privacy.
Look who's back.
All right.
It's embarrassing.
You can see.
Wake up, sleepyheads. This your Uncle Grandy. And
Carl,
as you can
totally
see,
you. Come on, you're better
that
than
article was
someone
about
around.
Angelina Jolie. She had a double
Have
mastectomy
you thought about going vegan?
and got both of her breasts removed
Carl.
to prevent breast cancer.
You know, folks who save hundreds of dollars.
But it's more to that I want you to pay attention to.
How happy are they, Jimmy?
So I want you to watch this next report by CNN as soon as this advertisement stops. They're talking about the genes.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Good morning, Christine. So this gene that she has is what's called the BRCA gene, or a breast cancer gene. And women usually get tested when they're in her situation, which is that they have a close relative or relatives with not just breast cancer, but also, instead of ovarian cancer, one or the other, or sometimes both. And so what she did is really smart. She knew her family history, and she got herself tested. And when you get tested, they might say, guess what? You're good. You don't have any mutations. Or in her case, there were mutations. So let's read a little part of her New York Times article that talks about what was found in her case. She said, "I carry a faulty gene, BRCA1, which sharply increases my risk of developing breast cancer and ovarian cancer. My doctors estimated that I had an 87% risk of breast cancer and a 50% risk of ovarian cancer, although the risk is different in the case of each woman." So, those numbers are high. Imagine being told, Christine, that you have an 87% chance of getting breast cancer. You can do different things. Some women say, I'm going to get a lot of mammograms and MRIs and just really keep my eye on this. Other women take drugs to prevent it, and other women do what she did, which is to get both their breasts removed.
And first, women who I know have gone through this cry, because this is really a scary thing to go through. Some women decide not to have preventive surgery. Others decide that they're going to monitor it, and others decide that they're going to do it, or they're going to first do mastectomy and then remove the ovaries. The first step, though, is getting screened for this gene. How do women go about getting screened for cancer?
What's interesting about this is that doctors themselves often tell me, you can go to a doctor, but really you're better off with a genetic counselor, because genetic counselors are steeped in this, and this is really complex. I can't emphasize enough. This is not simple, and so you want someone to counsel you through it. So if you can find a genetic counselor, go to one. If you can't, and sometimes they're hard to find in some cities, go to your doctor, talk about the testing, and talk about what it means, and be prepared for news that you don't want to hear, and be prepared for tough choices. You know, what we've seen here is that she decided to have her breasts removed, and in the article it sounds like it's possible that she's going to go on to have her ovaries removed, which is recommended in this situation, that women have their ovaries removed, you know, before the age of 40. A genetic counselor was telling me that. She tells her patients, you know, get your ovaries removed before your 40th birthday.
And Angelina Jolie, she's 37 years old? 36
That's right.
or 37
That's
years
right,
old?
37, right.
Now, if you do more research, you'll find out that the genetic counseling they talking about, all the patents are owned by one company. It's only one company that does the gene testing. You have to Google this information. I might do a report on it later showing you all the details. This one company has a patent on the gene research. Now, if you all remember health class or biology, you know that your genes are passed down from generation to generation. You pass it to your kids. So how is it possible for a company to have a patent on a gene? It's simple, folks. When we're born, for the last 40 or so years, they take our blood at birth, and they have a DNA database where they store all our genetic information. And companies are patenting our genes and DNA. That's what's going on, folks. Now, I'm not going to show you all this because it's more effective if you search it. So search DNA database or gene testing, genetic testing. Research this stuff. Now, another point is the fact that she got the double mastectomy. That's going to lead to lots of women doing that, believing that they got a mutated gene or something because a family member had it, even though that's rare. They're going to get double mastectomies and ovaries removed because the celebrity's doing it. This is another way of breaking up the family and depopulation, folks. Eat right. Eat organically. God said He planted herbs and vegetables to heal us. Don't trust the wizards and the sorcerers. Pay attention to what's going on, folks. Don't believe everything in the headlines. Research for yourself. Don't let people research for you. Don't believe a word I just said. Research it. And when you have a baby, they're going to take his blood and they're going to put it in a DNA database. And then they patent the genes or the mutated genes. So far, it's only one company, and if you research it, you'll find out the name of that company. That's your job. That's your homework for today. So again, ladies, don't panic. Don't take these pills and drugs. Eat naturally. Cancer wasn't organically, not naturally, organically. Cancer wasn't this high 100 years ago. The foods, the medicines, all these things are causing the cancers. You don't have to start removing body parts. Once again, this your Uncle Grandy. Stay up.